learn how to graph these linear equations the easy way.
All right, right off the bat, we have our equation y equals mx plus b.
This looks complicated now,
but it actually makes graphing easy. Let's define what each of these are. B is your y-intercept. Your y-intercept.
And the y-intercept occurs when x equals 0 or when the line crosses the y-axis.
So at this point in the center here of 8,
the point at the center of that circle
is a y-intercept.
Okay, let's talk about the next thing. M. What is M? This is your slope. Okay? Seems complicated, but you're going to get it, and it's going to make it easy for you.
And then finally, y. Well, y is just the value you're given. Y is y. So when you're given an xy table, and you have 1 and 2, and you have 2 and 4, well, in this case, y could be 2, and when y is 2, x is going to be 1. All right, and now just realize that x is the same thing. Well, can't go quite like that, but just realize that x is the same thing. X is a given value. So you have your slope, you have your y-intercept, and you have your given values. So with that in mind, I'm going to erase this so that you can push your brain a little bit and remember it. And we're going to think about, okay, knowing what we know now, and we understand that this is our y-intercept, let's focus on that first. So let's say we're given 3/5 y equals 3/5 x plus 1. Okay. Step number 1. Let's recognize our y-intercept. We recognize this as our y-intercept 1. So that means we're going to come to our graph here, and we're going to graph a point here at the y-axis at the number or up 1. So x is going to equal 0 here, and y is going to equal 1. So let's shade that in right there.
All right. We now have found our y-intercept.
What's next? We're going to find our slope. And our slope is given to us here. Our slope is given as 3/5. And we remember that slope is rise over run. So that means we're going to rise 3, 1, 2, 3, and we're going to run 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right about there. So we
now, using our slope and our intercept, we have found 2 points on our graph.
And when we find 2 points on our graph, that means we can connect them. And this is a linear equation, so we can extend beyond the 2 points we just connected. We can extend beyond the 2 points we just connected.
And we just graphed this equation, y equals 3/5 x, by only knowing the slope and the intercept. That's example 1. Let's try another one. First, I'm going to erase all of this stuff off the board. Okay, let's get ourselves another slope up here. Let's get a negative slope. Let's have y equals -2/3 x plus 4.
Now, how are we going to approach this? Well, we're going to start by finding the y-intercept. Okay, the y-intercept is going to be on the y-axis up 4. So it's going to be right there. Right there. That is our y-intercept. Okay, now we found that. So now let's think about our slope. We're given our slope as -2 over 3. So let's think about that. That means our rise over run, or our slope, is negative. That means it's going to go downwards, down and to the right. So we're going to go still rise over run. So we're going to go down 2, 1, 2, and we're going to run over 3. So 3 from here is 1, 2, 3. And we land right about there. Right about there. Okay. Let's shade that in a bit more. And now again, we used what we had over here we used what we had in our linear equation to find the 2 points. We're given a point on the y-axis, which is 4. Then using our slope, which is our direction, we find the next point. And then we simply connect those two together. And since it's a linear equation, we can extend beyond it. And we extend up. And we have now graphed the linear equation of a negative slope. Let's take one more example before I give you some practice problems of your own. But first, I'll erase all of this. Okay, let's take on our final example. We're going to have a special occasion. Something special. We have y equals 3. Now, what do you think that means? Y equals 3. What do you make of that? Well, when y equals 3, what that's telling us is we are only given the y-intercept. We're not given an... And the way I can explain that is by saying, if we had an xy table here, and we had 0, what would y be? So remember, this is our y value, this is our x value, this is our slope, and this is our y-intercept. So what if we plug 0 in up here? Well, m times 0 is 0. So then y would just equal b. So when x is 0, y is b. But we don't have to say b, we can say 3 because we know what y equals. So we're given the y-intercept. But you'll notice that we're not given anything else. We're not given a slope, and we're not given an x value. So what does this mean for us? What's the final verdict? The final verdict is that it's a horizontal line. We're simply given what y equals. And when we're given y equals 3, what that means is we go up 1, 2, 3, and we mark that point. We mark that point. I'm going to make a nice big circle. But now this line has no slope. It's a horizontal line. So what that means is that it does not change. It just goes horizontally, left and right. And extends on. It's flat. It's got no slope. So this is a special case. Let me give you a few examples to work through on your own. Here's 3 practice problems for you to work through. Do them on your own. Identify the y-intercept, identify the slope, sketch the graph, and then I'll do them myself. All right, let's get right into it. So we have our y-intercept and we have our slope. This will be the last time I call those two out. So let's start with our y-intercept. Y-intercept of 2, we shaded a nice dot here, and a slope of 3. So when we travel up 3, we move right, or we move over 1. So 1, 2, 3, over 1. So our point is right about there, and we then connect those two, and that is a straight line, with the straightest it can be. Then we have our next y-intercept at -1, so we shade it in there, and our slope is -1 over 4. Okay, so that means we run 4 for every 1 we fall. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and down 1. So right about there. And we then connect these points. We then connect these points, and we'll let that line go ahead and extend out. And bring it back. Okay. You have to bear with me and use your imagination a little bit. That is a straight line. All right, next we have our special case. We have a y-intercept at -2, and it's a horizontal line. There is no slope. There is no slope here. Horizontal. Y always equals -2. And that's graphing linear equations. As you'll see, that this is this form here is very useful, and it seems complicated, but just remember what the slope is, which is m, and what the y-intercept is, which is b, and x represents x as given to you, and y equals y as given to you. You can use the y-intercept to solve linear equations or graph linear equations. Thank you for watching the video. If you found it useful, like, comment, or subscribe.